I love it when Dinor does the prance.
Yeah.
Like he'll Superman in the air for a second,
Yeah.
and it's awesome. He just flies. He's got a good like gait, I think they call it,
Yeah.
for like
Running.
running. He's built well for running. You can tell it's easy for him and smooth for him. Another upside to getting mutts.
Yeah.
It's like they're not like so specialized that their hips are all fucked up or the wrong distance from their legs or whatever. He runs good. Got a good gait. I slipped because it's all spitty. It slipped because it's all spitty. I'm trying not to hit you with it. You always go right in the spot I want to bounce it. There you go.
I only learned recently that I guess like the new guidance with dogs is that you're not supposed to neuter them until they're fully grown. It's different with cats.
Look, dude, the issue with that is the same as it is with cats.
Yeah.
Like you're not supposed to neuter dogs until they're fully grown, but that can cause a lot of problems that are like look, Dinor is a sweet little guy, and part of that is because he never sexually developed.
Yeah.
Like he never got to the point where he was hyper aggressive. I just landed it right on the fucking chair like an idiot. He never got to that. He never developed all that competitive shit. He was neutered at like 8 months old.
Yeah. Well, and that's what they say, like, for smaller dogs, he was basically fully grown at 8 months. It's the bigger dogs that you have to go, like, a year and a half, I guess.
Yeah.
It just, like, the original guidance was, like, 8 weeks, like you do with kittens sometimes. And that's a little early.
Get up there, D. Be brave. You can do it.
He can't.
He just put his paws up on it. You could do it. You saw it didn't fall on you. Get it. Be brave.
But, yeah.
Good boy. Be brave.
Come on.
You was almost doing it. Be brave. Get your ball. Be brave. I believe in you. Be brave. Get your ball.
That's definitely not how you do it.
You could try it that way. Be brave. Get your ball.
Come on.
Be brave. You can jump up there and get it. It's not going to fall. Oh, be brave and get your ball.
No, you don't want.
Okay. I'll help you. I'll help you get your ball down. Say, look. Look, be brave. You can do it. Be brave. Go be brave.
I'll go get some coffee started.
Oh, that sounds good, baby. Thank you. He's still a good boy. He tried. He tried. That was brave of you to put your feet on it. The boy failed the test. It's okay. It's not a test for him to be him. He doesn't have to be brave. That's what Dad's here for. Dad's here to be brave when Dinor can't be brave. How's my day? It's okay. It's okay. How's your day? Yesterday I was at the dog park. Some dude told me eating snow means your dog is sick. I realized he was trying to make me worry because he stole my dog's ball. What? He's like trying to distract you because he ganked your dog's ball? What kind of monster does that? Who steals a dog's ball? Here, let me do this. Here. Get a big dink. That's fresh water. Get a big dink. Get a big dink out of the fresh one. Hey. Why are you so goofy? That sound made me thirsty. Dinor's working up a sweat. He's out here doing his fetches today. Usually he doesn't want to do this till later in the day, but today he's been obsessed. It's gonna go this way. Get it and bring it. I finished Ishmael yesterday, and now I feel like I understand your philosophy better. Thanks for recommending. Cool. Yeah, it's an easy read, and it's definitely foundational to a lot of my philosophical bents. I don't know if it's like the Rosetta Stone of the philosophy or whatever, but it is definitely one of the philosophical pillars that I stand upon. Ishmael is a great book. You are absolutely right. An eye-opening book for a lot of people. Very interesting dialogue between two characters. It's on Audible. Yeah, I don't know how the Audible performance is of it, but I presume it's good. You have to give it to me. You can't drop it. Here, you have to hand it to me. You know the rule. Give it. Put it here. There's actually can I give an example of the philosophy? There's actually a stream here that you can watch that'll do better than I feel like getting into today. It's actually called Ishmael, where I talk about the philosophy of Ishmael and how I read it and how I perceive it. I've actually thought for a while about doing like a book study with you guys on it. Where we kind of go chapter by chapter and do like a discussion based thing, but it would require like hyper vigilance in the chat or amongst the specters and shit, because it would definitely be a no bullshit kind of fucking stream. That's my biggest worry about it, is that, because in the past here, I've had varying degrees of ability to do these longer, focused philosophical streams. Some of them have turned out well, and some of them just devolve into fucking nonsense. I think that would work better on a Discord call or something. Nah, no, it wouldn't. It would have to be, people would have to be willing to listen to what the book is saying and then engage in actual discussion about the book, and there are just too many people with no fucking attention span. So it would definitely have to be one of those like lockdown kind of chats, Order 66 standing. Anything off topic or bullshit gets banned or whatever the fuck. But I've thought about doing it with you guys. It's just one of those things that I'm kind of like iffy on doing, because sometimes it just doesn't turn out. Sometimes you just can't get people on that page. Yeah, I could do it as a patron stream, but I mean, there's broad interest in this stuff, and I don't want to limit that necessarily to just the patrons. You can enable functions like push to talk to keep things under control. Dude, you have no fucking clue what you're talking about, bro. I actually ran a giant Discord, or was part of running a giant Discord twice. And let me tell you something, you have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Push to talk does nothing. If I opened a giant Discord room where everybody could talk, I wouldn't be able to read the book. Like, you just don't understand. Take like kind of what happens in the chat and dial it all the way up to like fucking 15. And that's Discord. Yeah, a book study stream would be fun. We could try it out and see how it works, and it could be something that we do semi-regularly together if people tend to like it or whatever. If not, then, whatever, we tried. So, that might be fun. A Lord of the Rings one, dude. That would be a long series. That would be a long fucking series that's a long series of tomes. You almost have to read The Hobbit first too, so tack that one on. I mean, you kind of got to get the lore on, Bilbo before you jump into Lord of the Rings. I mean, I guess you don't have to. Lord of the Rings is totally readable without reading The Hobbit, but I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it.
The Hobbit's so good. Why would you skip it?
I know. I love how fast-paced The Hobbit is in comparison to the Lord of the Rings books.
We had The Hobbit read to us in like 3rd grade.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That had to be fun. I didn't get introduced to The Hobbit until I was way later. It was just not part of the reading list at my schools. So my parents got me this box set when I was, I don't know, I was like 6 or 7 of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. And I read The Hobbit and couldn't get into Lord of the Rings, and then went back when I was like 11 or 12 and finally read the whole thing. It was like, whoa.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they read it to us super young. That's probably way above our reading level. But
I don't know.
They read it to us. They didn't have us try to read it.
That's true. I mean, The Hobbit is very simple and very straightforward, easy to understand, and fast-paced. Mm-hmm. So I could see kids being into it.
Yeah.
You have any comfort movies? I have tons of comfort movies. Like tons of movies that I will just put on in the background sometimes just because I love the dialogue. I could just name them off endlessly. Like I'm a serial rewatcher of film. That doesn't mean that I sit down every time and rewatch an entire film. I will go back and back and back and back and back to certain films. Barry Lyndon is a film like that. Sometimes I'll just put it on because I love the dialogue and the soundtrack. I'm not even looking at it. Sometimes I'll put it on just because I want to look at something that's, just so beautifully shot. We talked about it a few days ago, but there's a movie called South Central that's one of my comfort movies. I love that movie. It's an Oliver Stone movie.
Shown it to me.
Yeah, South Central is because I just like.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you're gonna think it's kind of cheesy.
Okay. Well,
I don't know.
I sat through that radio one with you.
Which one?
The TV radio or whatever.
Oh, Talk Radio.
Talk Radio, yeah.
I mean, yeah, that one was, that's an Oliver Stone movie. So is this other one. So I guess we could try it. I mean, South Central is a good movie in my opinion, but it's got tons and tons of like late 80s street tropes that don't really apply at all anymore.
Well, I mean, I watched like the fucking Naked Gun movies with you. I watched Howard the Duck.
That's true.
I think you've just been like, there's been a couple that you liked that I didn't like, but I think overall.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't think it's the greatest movie of all time, but I really do love the story arc of it, and there's a couple of really over-the-top character performances in it that are really interesting, and the writing is interesting. It's like a little slice of that time. Other comfort movies that I'll just throw on because I love watching them. Man, I had a bunch flood my brain when you asked this question, and now I can't stop thinking about the two I've already mentioned.
What about fucking The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia? That's
Oh, yeah.
documentary you can go back to a ton of times.
That's true. I do love documentaries, so I will rewatch. Like, there's one called, I have rewatched The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia like 15 times, so I would say that qualifies it as a comfort movie of mine, probably. There's another there's a bunch of documentaries that I love watching. Like, I love going back and watching Jesus Camp. Like, that documentary, the arc of it is so great that I just, it's so entertaining. It's so well paced. I love the documentary The Queen of Versailles. I've watched that probably 10 times. It's shockingly interesting to me to see a multi-millionaire family reduced to basically nothing and then kind of building it back again. But there's been a lot of tragedy in that family, unfortunately. The oldest daughter that's featured in the documentary's dead. She had a drug overdose. Other like evergreen movies that I can just throw on and I know that I'm gonna like no matter what mood I'm in. A lot of Kubrick films are this way to me. Like, I can throw on Full Metal Jacket and just know that I'm going to be happy to, at the very least, hear it in the background or watch the whole fucking thing if I get sucked into it again. I can throw on a lot of like war movies, especially the classic war movies fit into this for me. Like, they're just evergreen for me. Bridge Over the River Kwai is one, an older one that I've watched a bunch of fucking times that's just evergreen to me. Apocalypse Now, Platoon. Pretty much the entire cinematic catalog of Paul Thomas Anderson is evergreen for me. Like, I can throw on Boogie Nights and watch that pretty much any time of the day or night, and I'm going to be enraptured by it. That movie just captures me. Same thing goes for There Will Be Blood. Same thing goes for The Master. Those three movies. Anybody ever goes like, "Hey man, you want to watch?" and then says that movie, I'm probably going to go like, "Yep."
Empire of the Sun's pretty good.
It is good. It's just not a movie that I go back to a whole lot. I've seen it twice, I think. And it's been a long time since I've seen it. The first of these movies for me as a child was Goonies. The Goonies was the first movie that I became obsessed with because it made me feel good to watch it. Like, I'd go over to my friend's house and we would sit there, and her mom like had, I don't know, dude. Her mom had an obsession with renting movies and then dubbing them. And so her mom had a ton of movies.
You mean, like copying them?
Yeah, like she would take the VHS tape and she had one of those double-headed VCRs where you'd put one tape in here and then you could record on this other tape. So they had two pop-ups. And she would go and rent movies and dub them. And a lot of the movies that she rented were movies we didn't give a fuck about. But she had Goonies. And the first time I saw that movie, I watched it again. Like, I wanted to watch it again immediately, and we did. I remember we sat there, we had like a sleepover, and that was it. She and I just laid there and watched Goonies over. So the Goonies is one of those, and it's definitely kind of gives you a window into my cinematic consumption because I still consume movies that way to this day. I see certain movies, and they make an indelible mark on me that makes me want to re-experience them over and over and over and over and over again ad nauseum. Like, some people would get bored by the second watch, and for me, I'm on the 20th watch of some of these films or more.
Like, I think that the way it is now, it's harder for people to get back into it because DVDs, most people don't get the physical copy of things anymore.
That's true. I mean, we were limited. There was definitely a more limited selection for us as children. I didn't grow up in the era of Netflix or Blockbuster. So, Blockbuster was something that came around when I was a teen and became popular when I was a teenager. So, as a kid, I had access to a very small video rental library at a place called the Tackle Box 2 in Madera. Had this one tiny little wall that had some movies on it. And then whatever like my Aunt Barbara would give me, she would always like she had I don't remember what we called it. The black box, that's what we called it for cable. So there were these like rigged boxes, cable boxes that you could buy, and then you pay for basic cable, but then you hook up your own rigged cable box and then unscrambles all the channels, so you basically got free HBO and blah blah blah.
I know, it's like, if you think about it, like, our parents were probably bigger thieves than we are.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, I mean, they were at the very least the same type of thieves that we are. You know, you can't download a car, you can't black box a car, you know what I mean? You could say that to your parents and their parents probably, because that was their way of doing it. But my she's the only one I knew that had one, but she saw that I was in love with movies at a very young age, and so she would tape movies for me and give my mom these stacks of VHS tapes that were just like, she would just put it in and start taping a movie and just let it tape HBO until the tape ran out, you know? And so I would get 2 movies or sometimes a movie and a half. It was very weird, but I loved it. It helped to expose me to a lot of movies that I never would have gotten to see as a kid, and really helped solidify me as a lover of movies. Someday you may be able to download a car. 3D printing. Paul, I sent you a DM on Twitter. Why do I care, George? I may or may not check it. You need
another one?
I don't know. Nope, I'm good. What's in the cup? Coffee. Black
coffee.
Yep.
Cafe Bustelo espresso coffee.
Oh yeah. Paul, can you 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon? Myself? Yeah. Okay.
Well, I feel like Leonard Nimoy probably gives you a lot of degrees.
So does Edward James Olmos probably, but the connections are going to be hard for me to make. Unless one of those guys was in a movie with Kevin Bacon, which is totally fucking possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to be way better at 6 degrees to Kevin Bacon. But I haven't worked that muscle since high school, so I can't do it.
Yeah, we'll have to do it. Edward James Olmos, Kevin Bacon.
Milo gives you a bunch, by the way, of the people who have interviewed him, huh? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, because that puts me 2 degrees from Joe Rogan. TJ puts me 1 degree from Joe Rogan. And Joe Rogan has interviewed everybody. Has Joe Rogan ever interviewed Kevin Bacon?
That's the question.
Because that right there, I'm 3 degrees from Kevin Bacon. Boom.
Kevin Bacon. Joe Rogan.
But I mean, Joe Rogan has interviewed everybody.
Yeah, so I'm sure you could find someone that...
Right. Comedians and fucking people that have worked with Kevin Bacon. So.
Well, I know I'm like only a couple degrees from Pee Wee Herman.
Oh yeah?
My dad met him when they had a mutual friend dying of cancer, which isn't the best way to meet Pee Wee Herman, but...
Hey, that puts you pretty close to Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
Yeah, the that place CalArts that I went to is Pee Wee Herman's alma mater. They have a big fucking like kind of like wall dedicated to him there. Paul Rubens. He was trained in physical comedy, commedia dell'arte, all the little weird mimeries that he used, over exaggerated things that made up Pee Wee Herman's character were developed there at that school.
Your paws are all wet.
You've been wandering.
Ugh.
Oh,
Gonna get me all wet.
Yep, there you go. Gonna use mom's lap as a doormat again.
Dude, he's been like, his lapdogness has like increased threefold recently.
He loves it, dude. He loves it. For some reason, he's Mr. Lapdog recently.
It's because you're getting to be an old man.
He's a middle-aged man. Ain't not old yet. He's a middle-aged man. You're a middle-aged man, Dino.
You're about where Dad is in life.
Yep.
Yeah, we found out that dogs have a vocabulary of a 2-year-old the other day.
That's true.
I don't know if he's quite there. I don't think he knows 165 words.
No, but he probably knows a good 100 words if we really break it down. Yeah. At least has a concept of what they mean.
Yeah.
We bought a new sofa and the dog wouldn't leave my lap.
Burp.
Did you just burp? Is that why you get up in laps? Because you want back pats to help you with your burps?
You're still a baby. You're a middle-aged man and you're a baby at the same time.
You're a middle-aged man, Dino.
I guess while we're on the subject of pets too, Cricket, we learned, hates beef. With vengeance.
Dude, Cricket will not eat beef. That is true. He had a beef last night. I fed Cricket last night and I grabbed a can of food. We got this like mixed, because he gets a can of food and then he gets a little bit of kibble. So
we got like a 40-pack.
Yeah, we got like this 40-pack and one of them was beef and I just grabbed it and I was like, damn, beef, all right. And I took it and I opened it and put it in there and he like sniffed it and he just was not going to eat it. And by the time like nighttime came, when it was well after Cricket usually like gets his meal,
afterwards.
He was going ape shit. He kept jumping up on us and shit. He would not leave us alone. We'd give him the and he'd go. And then like literally 3 seconds later, he'd be like, he's like, get me real food. He literally like, so she opened up a can of like tuna or chicken or whatever the fuck flavor that he usually gets. And he devoured it. He instantly got up there and was like, oh yeah, he's completely spoiled. There was nothing wrong with that beef. But he ain't gonna eat it.
He's bird and fish only.
Yep. Yep. He wasn't gonna have it any other way other than his way.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, Garzimo. A domestic cat probably hasn't caught a cow since they split off from big cats.
True, maybe. The doggies are chirping, yes indeed. Never snozzy goslip. That's how you say the doggies are chirping phonetically backwards. Never snozzy goslip. Nobody believes me until they try it. If you say Nefer Schnazi Goslip backwards, right? Well, you say it forwards and then you like put it in a program and reverse it, you will hear yourself say the doggies are chirping. I doubt a cat could get through the hide of a live cow faster than the cow would move. What about like 500 cats though?
Yeah. I mean, it's theoretical too. A barn cat would find a dead cow, so.
Yeah. What kind of drugs were you on when you thought of doggies chirping? That whole song was fueled by numerous drugs. I mean, like what, any drug that I ingested as a teenager is kind of woven into that song. Alone in Yo Poon. I've never done mescaline. No, I would love to do mescaline, but I've never done it.
12 cats to take Paul out.
I don't think it would take that many, to be honest with you. I think 3 or 4 of them could probably do it.
Yeah, if they were sufficiently unfamiliar with you and you were threatening them enough.
Yep, I think if they were just, all focused on taking me down and eating me, I'm pretty sure they could get it. What about infinity cats with the infinity stones? Damn, I don't even think about that.
I would take out a dinosaur.
Yeah, I mean, that would take out the universe.
Yeah.
The fuck is mescaline? It's like it's basically DMT. It's like a cactus derived fungus that it's basically DMT. Peyote, right? Or is that peyote? I might be thinking of the wrong thing. Mescaline is not peyote, but it's cactus derived. I know that. I would love to do either. I'd love to do some mescaline. I'd love to do some fucking peyote. I would love to do like an actual shaman-led ayahuasca treatment. Like, I think that'd be pretty fucking dope. I would be willing to go that far down the DMT trail. I don't know about taking a concentrated fucking hit of DMT, but I'd be willing to go the ayahuasca route. Yeah. Meet my spirit animal and all that shit.
I think, yeah, with those kind of drugs, it's probably best to have someone super experienced.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget, with the Vicar in Outer Worlds, did you do the drug route?
I can't even remember the drug side thing in that. What was it?
Like, he sees his mother in, like, a hallucination and argues with her and then finally realizes the plan doesn't work.
Oh, I remember that, yeah. I can't remember which way I chose with him.
Oh, yeah, New Vegas had Datura, though. You could totally do drugs like that in New Vegas. And that Honest Hearts DLC, you could take Datura.
Datura. My uncle did that. They all immediately got a bad trip and vomited on each other while the shaman read magazines. Cool. That sounds like an interesting story. Oh, so is we talking psychedelics? No, not long term.
Yeah.
We're definitely not talking psychedelics all day today.
Yeah, that's the limit of the drug conversation.
Yep.
We're not going into different categories now.
Nope. No, we are not. What drug you done so I can live vicariously through you? / take advice that you never meant to give about drugs. Nope. Nope.
Yeah, if you really want to watch it, you did the psychedelics episode on Patreon.
Yeah. Yeah.
That got derailed into Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
Well, yeah. We dropped acid. That was never going to go the way it was supposed to go.
Capybaras are dogs made of coconut. Oh, shit.
It's kind of true. That's kind of true. They're coconut dogs. I never thought of it that way, but you're right. They look like coconuts. You know what the sad thing is? Drug conversations can be interesting if you're amongst adults that know the limits of drug conversations and drug use. But the fact of the matter is, and this is just a sad fucking, truth, but it is the truth. You can't have like a conversation about drugs that's interesting with a bunch of people who've never done a drug.
Yeah, like you gotta be having this conversation with like 60-year-old hippies or something.
But even then, it's like most people that have done drugs, drug conversations are something that happen very rarely because we've had a lot of them. We know about, you know what I mean? And so like, it's another indictment that I have a real young, inexperienced kind of audience. And that's why I don't like doing drug talks, because I don't want people living vicariously through me. I don't want people taking my drug history as some kind of tacit advice on how they should fucking conduct themselves, because it isn't. But I'm dealing with a lot of people out there who have never done drugs. Yeah, people who have actually done drugs don't really talk drugs all that often. That's true. And when they do, it's possible to have a really interesting conversation about drugs, but I can't make that interesting for you guys. That's why the topic is like typically verboten. And when I do go off on it, it's rare because, let's talk about depression. Okay. What do you want to talk about? Hello, fat weed Jesus. I like that. Fat weed Jesus. You were joking, sorry. Okay. Well, you're banned. Now you're feeling banned today.
That's not even remotely in the context of anything that the chat even started.
Nope. Depression seems to be on the up. I'm going down. Lots of family members going down. All right. Well, I guess if we're gonna talk fucking depression, then I'll unban Stephanie Owens. Maybe I was a little quick on the ban there. We'll give it a shot. I just don't typically like having my fucking time wasted. Like, don't bring up a topic and then eject out of it and say you were joking. Have you ever heard of Brockhampton? I don't want to talk about Brockhampton. I don't care. Do you like JRPGs? This is like borderline fucking...
Anime.
Like, it's just borderline fucking nothing talk. Sorry, salt explosion there. I backed off of it. Had a little salt twinge there, a little salt spasm, okay? It happens. The chat lately, well, I mean, there's been more than the average amount of mass unbans in the last month because I did a fucking patrons only stream, and I wanted to make sure that no patrons had been banned in a salty outburst like what just happened. So I unbanned everybody again. And so a lot of the inmates have re-invaded the asylum. You know what I mean? That's just part of the fucking tactic here. You can't win, so I just have a heavy ban policy and a heavy unban policy.
Maybe it'd be better to do the patron streams on like your side one.
Or I'll just do the patron streams on the fucking
DFF
channel.
Yeah.
Like that might.
That way you don't have to fuck up Highdeology every time.
That's true. Yeah, new DFF came out last night.
It got people especially salty for some reason.
What?
The topic, remember, it got people all salty.
What topic?
The Martin Lawrence versus.
Oh, well, it did. It got one person all salty that I could tell. Some dude was just like, I don't want to hear DFF tear down things that I like. And I was just like, what are you here for then?
So, like, literally no one else you've ever talked about or any movie you've ever covered was something you liked.
He was trying to invoke some, like, kind of like hood fucking
Clout
rule about how you don't fuck with Mike Epps or Martin Lawrence. And I was like, fuck that. It's like, yeah, if you have such a high esteem for Mike Epps and Martin Lawrence, then don't watch the fucking episode. It wasn't made for you. Yeah, some dude, he just was not happy that we decided to make an episode about Mike Epps and Martin Lawrence. He was just like, man, both of these guys are, you don't understand, part of black culture. And I'm just like, what? Like,
it'd be racist not to cover them.
Like, I was a white kid and I watched Martin. I've probably seen every episode of Martin Lawrence's fucking sitcom. So I you know, what do you want? Like, these guys, I've seen Mike Epps in a bunch of fucking movies. I saw him ruin the fucking Friday franchise. Yeah, that was basically what it was. He was like, hood culture and hood films shouldn't be criticized because they were made to occupy a space that black people needed. And I understand that, but that doesn't mean that they should be allowed to be shit movies. You know what I mean? They're a good, like that movie that I was talking about earlier, South Central. It's a hood film. But it's also a good film. Friday is a hood film, but it's also a good film. You see what I mean?
Like I said, it'd be racist not to cover black entertainers.
Yeah.
Equal fucking right to be shit on.
Exactly. The Wayans brothers made a whole ass fucking movie about making fun of hood movies. Don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. That's the name of their movie because they're aping Menace to Society. They're aping Don't Be a Menace. They're aping South Central. They're aping Juice. And they're aping Boys in the Hood and every other fucking hood movie. Aping? I mean, come on, guys. Are you that fucking lame, dude? Go look up the fucking word. It doesn't have anything to do with people's fucking race. Plebcabulary, I know, dude. Ape? Huh? I know, just couldn't resist. Well, let me help you resist, dumb shit. I chose to use it because it's what they did. It's what those movies do. Like the scary movies. They ape the horror genre. That's the whole point. Mel Brooks movies. Like fucking ape Star Wars.
It's like it takes 10 seconds to look it up in the dictionary.
Look it up. The act of satire.
Even if you have a physical dictionary, it's right in the fucking beginning.
Yep. Literally type it into Google and quit being stupid. Broaden thy vocab. Learn a couple of words. Read a couple of fucking books. Why do I have 2 cups? I got 2 cups, one for the water and one for the water. I don't know, there's 2 cups of water out here. There's actually 2 cups of water and then there's a cup of coffee. So this is coffee and then there's water. I hydrate myself. Whatever you do, don't joke on Paul's stream. What? I'm not going to ban you, Billy Goat. Billy Goat never gets banned. I want Billy Goat to sit around and be miserable. Nope, untime him. Untime him.
I don't think you can.
Oh, well, don't time him anymore. Leave Billy Goat alone. Let him be miserable in the chat. I want his misery to shine forth. I have given him immunity from the ban hammer. That's all right. He deserved it. You can't untime.
You're too quick on the draw.
No, it's all right, Asbestos. Yeah. You did nothing wrong. Trust me. I made a unilateral decision on the fly. Some of these streams, I swear, are the names of Diablo 2 runes. Sometimes, yeah. Paul, are you ready? Cicada uprising this year. I don't live in an area with cicada blooms, so I'm not real worried about it. But yeah, if you live in an area with there's like a different cycles that cicada blooms happen on, and if you live in an area that has a particularly long and strong bloom, like Arizona has long gaps between their cicada blooms, but then when it happens, they're fucking all over every inch of everything. I like cicada noises, but I also like the classic crickets and frogs. Oh yeah, cicadas down south in general are insane. Arizona cicadas, insane. Yeah, I like the various like kind of ambiance noises that birds and insects provide to an area. Paul, I can only think of 2 movies in the 2010s, 2020s that could go down as the best of all time. The first Avengers and the It remake. Banned. 100% insta-ban, no question about it. Too stupid. I like the sound of the train that passes by your place. I lived by train tracks for a few years and I kind of miss it. Yeah, if you grew up around train tracks, you're gonna have like a, IP ban. VPN ban. Yeah. Banned all VPNs. You ban every fucking IP address that you ever will use in the future. You're banned forever. You never get to come back. Different opinions, strictly forbidden. Dumb opinions, strictly forbidden. I will amend it and then agree with you. Dumb opinions, strictly forbidden. I am not looking to attract the type of person that thinks that It is a good film. I want to shun that type of person from me.
Or that thinks there's literally nothing else in 20 years.
Yeah. Like that, if that's a real opinion, I want it away from me. What kind of shoes do I flex? I flex a pair of like 15-year-old Airwalks, yo. And if I'm really feeling saucy, I've got a pair of black Timberlands.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just something about those Chucks. I think it's just the high top that's kind of made them unattractive to you.
Yeah. I missed having high tops. I used to like high tops as a kid. I don't really like them that much anymore. I mean, I'll still wear them. Those are probably the flexiest shoes I own, my custom designed Chucks, but I don't wear them very much.
Yeah.
They're not all that comfortable.
It's probably your feet got bigger as you got older too.
Well, yeah, my feet got fatter. No Jordans? No, I don't have any expensive sneakers or anything like that. I've never owned a pair of Crocs. I never owned Birkenstocks either. Those were like the Crocs before the Crocs. Everybody, like, it was kind of posh to get these Birkenstock sandals, and they were just fucking lame. I never owned a pair of Birkenstocks.
I got in on the Crocs trend, but not the Uggs trend. Like my grandma even got me like all the little pins that you can put in the Crocs.
Oh shit. Yeah, I skipped the Crocs. Birkenstocks made a huge comeback here lately. Oh god, man. I fucking hate that shit. I'm sorry. I hope they go away soon. Birkenstocks looks comfortable. I'm just gonna say it. I'd probably buy a pair if they weren't expensive.
You can probably find like 10 knockoffs.
Yep. I guess you probably could. I don't know, dude. I think they look fucking lame. But at the end of the day, I don't really care what kind of footwear you're wearing.
Oh my goodness.
What are you coming up here now? You got something? I got something to say. I fetched a ball today. Look at chat.
Yeah. Say hi.
Say hi, chat. I'm a dinosaur. He's very handsome. Yes, he is. He is a very handsome boy. D don't look so dirty today. Yeah.
Well, he had a face full of grass not too long ago.
He's still dirty. He's still dusty, dirty D.
He's got soaking wet
Dirty
feet.
D. Dirty, dusty D. He's cutie. Thanks for the visit, bro. Dinor loves bandanas, yeah. He's worn bandanas a lot. He'll wear a doggy bandana.
One more?
Does Dinor like the smell of weed?
I don't think he minds it.
Yeah, I don't think he must not mind it because he was raised by me. You know, like,
I think Cricket gets grossed out by it sometimes.
yeah, Cricket seems to keep his distance if I'm having myself a little smoke, but Dinor, he doesn't care. I always put bandanas on my lab. Looks so cool. Yep. He looks good in a bandana too. Let me brush off all this grass off of you. Got grass everywhere. Look at you. You're a grassy boy.
Yeah. I mean, it should start breaking down soon.
It will. Grassy boy. You're a grassy boy.
Cricket likes catnip. He'll just eat literally every speck of it.
Yeah, true. Sorry, I just got stuck petting Dinor. It happens a lot. What do you want, soft boy? Where's your ball? You've got so much piss and vinegar. Give me your ball.
Can I have it?
Bring your ball to Mom. There you go. Would you say that your babies are happier where you guys are living now? I know that Dinor really enjoys having a bigger yard to run around in, and I'm pretty sure Cricket.
I like that little side room. I
Yep.
opened that up today.
Cricket loves where his cat tree is because he can kind of watch the whole neighborhood. And he's got we've got this side room that we don't really use for anything, and he's obsessed with it. So he loves going off in there and just laying by himself. So he's got like a whole little room to himself if he wants it. So yeah, I'd say the boys enjoy it. They got a little upgrade in their living situation. Probably most especially you, though.
Yeah.
You got a whole yard all to yourself. You want to share it with no other dogs unless we got visiting friends, huh? Like Caesar. Or Marley. Sorry.
Too excited.
I'm just streaming me talking to my dog. I get caught in conversations with Dinor quite a bit. He likes it.
Dinor's never had a puppuccino, I don't think.
I don't. No, he has. He's
Yeah?
had a puppuccino before. He's good with a puppuccino. It wasn't a thing though when we were when I worked at Starbucks. The puppuccino came along after I had already quit Starbucks. Like I just never ran into it. It wasn't like we wanted to deny the dogs it. And you know what? Maybe they did have it, but it was very rare for people to get it.
I don't think it was like a staple there. It seems like the independent coffee shops are more likely to have it.
Well, it took off like I quit Starbucks. Let me try. I got to try and do the math here. So I quit Starbucks in.
You said you were at the school district for 8 years.
Yeah, that's why I
quit in 2015. So 15 minus 8 is 7.
Yeah. So 2007 then. 2007-8 would have been when I quit Starbucks, and it wasn't like a widespread thing then.
I'm really surprised in Washington you didn't once run into a bikini barista.
Yeah, I didn't. Never saw a bikini barista. Louisiana is just Florida without theme parks. Kind of, yeah. I think it's possible to transition to a moneyless society in a realistic time frame from where we are. It seems centuries away to me. It's a collapse away. Mm-hmm. Like, Derek Jensen asked his audience at the top of a lot of his lectures, do you think that it's like likely that the human race will transfer to a more sustainable way of living of its own volition? And no matter who he's talking to, people say no. And so it's like, so we're headed inexorably for this collapse, and whether or not we learn from that collapse or repeat our mistakes is really the big question. Because one way or the other, over the course of the next 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years, this is all coming down. When I say this is all, I mean the current paradigm in the world. The power balance is in the process of being shifted. So America has dominated geopolitics during the modern age, and that hegemony is over. And so America's empire is in decline. And an empire in decline is a very, very dangerous empire.
Yeah. And
So
we're just based on fiat currency. So it's not
we have
based
been
in
forever.
any, like, limited resource. So at some point, the fucking fiat's going to get untenable.
Right. At some point, you're not going to be able to math your way around all of the debt that you've somehow turned into liquidity. And it's all going to come crashing down. The bubble's going to blow. The Jenga tower is going to go. And that's just the economy. So this collapse that I talk about a lot here has to come along. And then the next step is, hopefully, if there are pockets of humans that live, that they take the lessons of this civilization with them and come up with a better way of living. That, to me, is the best hope for humanity. That's my most hopeful, considered possibility for the future of humanity.
That was weird. I read the other day, like, this Minnesota senator is trying to cede as many counties to South Dakota as he can. He wants South Dakota to be this monster that swallows Minnesota.
Maybe it will. It's going to be a mess, but hopefully people will learn from it. That's why I talk about it.
Yeah, Star Trek had their eugenics war, that I think was the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah, it took humanity in Star Trek and Atomic Apocalypse to learn from their mistakes, yeah. I don't see a way around the rich exterminating us with killbots to keep the last resources for themselves. You may be right. I don't know. You could be correct. I don't know. Can't even fathom a world without greed. I mean, there's different levels of greed, right? So if you look at some of the Native American societies that existed in pre-European days on the North and South American continent, a lot of those tribes of people didn't have what we would call greed as an operating part of their day-to-day lives. They lived communally. Now, within that community, there may have been greed and covetousness and envy. It might be that one person is in love with another person's wife or something, and there's that envy. Or it might be that one person is very lauded by the tribe for his or her contribution, and somebody is envious of that and acts a certain way towards that person. Like, I could see those sorts of things existing in the society, but when material possessions are things that have to be picked up and carried with you as you follow the food during the seasons, greed doesn't behoove anybody. You rely on every man, woman, and child in that tribe to do what they have to do so that that tribe flourishes, and so that the land, when you come back to it, flourishes. So the idea of greed amongst some of these North American civilizations, if it existed at all, it was more like envy.
Like, you kind of need excess to have the greed that we see today.
Right.
You need to be able to accumulate resources, which is kind of impossible in, like, a fucking
Nomadic.
Yeah.
Now, that this is of course excluding uh, Mexican, Central American, and South American cultures. Those are different altogether, and I'm relatively ignorant on the history of those. I'm relatively ignorant on the history of North American tribes as well, but I know a little bit more about them than I know about the Incas and the Olmecs and the Toltecs and, the Aztecs. Will we go back to tribal communities in the future? We may have no choice. Like the ecological collapse and the war-based collapse that's coming may leave people no choice but to band together and become tribes people. So yeah, maybe. The answer is maybe. I mean, the real big question that looms over it, there's two for me. Do we survive what's coming? Because in my mind, it's totally possible that the human species and most species on this planet just don't survive what's coming. So do we, and when I say we, I mean human beings, excluding all other animals, survive it? That's question number one. Question number two is, do we learn? Do those people have the ability to build up a strong enough sense of themselves to never allow that to happen again? Or does history erode it? Does that eventually become, oh, that's the old way of thinking, let's build a city? You know what I mean? And it all just starts again. Let's take back a city. Let's turn back on the power. You know what I mean? Let's get these factory farms repopulated with some of these wild cows. You know what I mean? It all just starts again. There's a total possibility of that.
Yeah, there might be, like, that might be how civilization works. Like, at a certain point, when humans reach stability, they just instinctually want to build cities and massive agriculture. And
Well, look at it from the other way too. Derek Jensen says that this civilization has a death urge. So his contention is that civilizations eventually reach this point of ennui where people don't give a fuck anymore or aren't allowed to give a fuck anymore because things have gotten so bad and oppressive. And that the people inside those civilizational cultures secretly are wishing and kind of worshiping the idea of its eventual collapse while outwardly expressing antipathy towards it. So they'll say outwardly, oh, I don't want everything to collapse. We got to fix this, we got to fix that. But deep inside, they kind of want to see it all collapse. And I know that fucking applies to me. And I know that it applies to a broad swath of people, many of whom probably would not fucking admit it. Living in this culture is disgusting to people on a certain level that we're not willing to admit because we all were raised in this mythological fucking exaltation of what we've built here.
like, think of how much romanticization post-apocalyptic societies enjoy. Every religion has this time period where everything's supposed to come crashing down.
Right. And I'm not talking about being suicidal here. I'm not talking about you individually. I'm talking about our culture and civilization in general having a death urge. The people that exist, the average people that exist inside of these cultures, typically hate these cultures one way or the other for whatever reason. They hate it. They feel antipathy towards these cultures. And that breeds in them a desire for something better, and that breeds in them also a desire to see all the shit that they see as hypocrisy to come tumbling the fuck down. And they're right to believe that. They're right to feel that way because they are surrounded by exploitation and hypocrisy. You think the Romans weren't? You think the average, like Rome, I was taught as a kid that Rome fell because a bunch of barbarians invaded it. Rome fell because it rotted from the head like a fish.
They spread themselves super thin.
Constant military campaigns for the continued exaltation of the empire spread it too thin. The neglect of the people that lived in Rome and the Roman people in general that lived in the countryside, the exploitation of those people and the neglect of those people became ever more and more as the coffers dried up. It rotted from the head like a fish, just like everything else does. You think that people living in the twilight of Rome weren't thinking the same thing I'm talking about here? I wish this whole disgusting fucking city would just fall. I wish this whole fucking disgusting, piss-smelling, degrading, fucking gross, disgusting shit in the streets city will fall. You don't think that there was a Roman that had that exact thought? The hypocrisy of these politicians, the hypocrisy of these landowners, the hypocrisy of these merchants. And then the average person breaks their fucking back all day and gets nothing for it. I wish this whole fucking hypocritical fucking thing would just tumble and burn. And it did. We're on the way back. Yeah, I mean, Rome was picked apart by the Visigoths and numbers of Germanic tribes and shit as it fucking lost its clout. It lost its clout because it stopped taking care of its people. It rotted to the point where the ruling political class and the merchant class was so rich and opulent that the poverty that was inherent in Rome, the stink of it rose too high and people just gave up. The Ottomans, yeah. I mean, Rome was just kind of picked apart piecemeal. And that to me is exactly what happened to the Egyptian Empire. We know even less about it because it's even further back than the Romans. But the Egyptian Empire rotted from the head like a fish. It disappeared. Expansionism, colonization of these other lands led to antipathy at home. Ever more opulent leaders and ruling classes became ever more starkly different from the average person, and it just went to shit. It was picked apart by other civilizations because there was no longer a cohesive defense. There's a little I'm gonna go see if it's a little caterpillar. I think it's a caterpillar or a millipede. He's a caterpillar. Come here, feller. You're not gonna do well up here.
You're gonna show him?
Yeah. He's all curled up right now, but he's fine. Yeah. They go defensive when you pick them up. But this is just a little caterpillar that wandered up on my porch here. Let me see if I can show him to you guys. Oh my God, this camera's zoomed in, I think. Yeah, it is. Okay, there we go. Fixed. There he is. Let me take him out in the sun here. I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but yeah, there he is. So, little guy was crawling on my wall in there. He's not going to do too well there, but I don't want to make him bird food either. Because if I put him on this, yeah, I'm going to go take him to a tree here. We're going to put him on a tree. I think that's probably his best bet is a tree. Not my porch, bud. So I'm going to take him right here to this big tree, and I'm going to put him in that little piece of bark right there because he's like a little hidden there. Put him in a bush. I don't know, man. A bush, you think? Oh, man, I can hear them. They're everywhere, little guy. You got a long road to hoe. But I'm going to put you over here. I'm going to put you in this little nook right here in the tree. There he goes. All right, he's off in there now. Best we could do. best we could do. It's up to nature now. He wasn't going to do well up on my porch, though. He wasn't going to find a place to chill there.
I'm gonna try and get like one of the gaps of the house and realize there's no food there.
Yeah, he wasn't going to find anything to eat there. He wasn't going to find a safe place to turn into a little butterfly there. Or a moth.
Have you ever seen like a caterpillar invasion? Like one time in high school, like we were literally covered in those like little fuzzy yellow caterpillars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like every fucking railing around and every like little place on the grass was just caterpillars.
Yep. Now this porch, I have to rescue little creatures off this porch quite often.
Yeah.
They like looked, a couple little frogs have hopped their way up here, and it's like, dude, there is nothing over here for a frog. So I'll pick them up and take them out there. An ant invasion. Oh yeah, dude. Ants, dude, if you get ants, it is war. You have to go to war with them. Like you literally like have a dude come out and put bombs in the not bombs, but like shit in the ground that poisons the ground underneath it so that all the ants are dying, and then like inside you've got all this shit you do. If you get ants really bad, you have to go to war with them. You literally do.
I remember when I very first moved to Louisiana, I just got like a whole foot full of fire ants.
Yeah.
A crow friend. Came close.
I think that's a raven.
Yeah.
Is that a raven or a crow? It's probably a crow.
I don't think he looked big enough, but I mean, he was pretty far by the time I got a good look at him.
Sounds like Jeepers Creepers over here. Crows. We got the whole bird colony that lives over by us here. We got mourning doves, we got owls, we got a pair of fucking red-tailed hawks that are roosted here that hunt together.
Scrub jays.
Scrub jays everywhere. It's bird city doo-wah-diddy over here. What color was the beak? I didn't get a look at the
it's
animal
like
at
the
all.
shadow flew overhead and then he was all the way in the distance, so. See? You didn't even see.
What'd you see?
Dude, he had like a raging hate against the fucking gardener.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't like lawnmowers and loud shit.
Yeah, well, even just seeing him in the yard, he's like, "Rrr."
Oh, day. Too protective. I have to pee.
You want to go in too?
I'm done out here for a bit. I'll take you inside. Go ahead.
And that rooster never stops day and night. That rooster's crowing away. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if that rooster sleeps. Does it in shifts with another rooster? I don't know. Just remarking on the rooster that never stops.
Confused rooster. All right. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. I want to quit smoking. I've reached a point where I've had my little year and change and then some back on the cigarettes, and I don't like it. But I don't want to vape. I do not want to be sucking on a steam engine the rest of my life, so I'm thinking I'm going to have to fucking cold turkey this bitch. And that's going to be shit. But it's got to happen. I made the decision. It's fucking up my voice. It's fucking up my fucking... It's making my allergies worse. It's not good for me. So I got to quit. That's just it. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but I got to just do it.
Your birthday, maybe?
Yeah, dude. April Fool's Day coming up. My 41st birthday. Cold turkey. I just got to do it. First 2-3 days are the worst. And then it just becomes a matter of fucking willpower. I've done it before. I'll do it again. But I do not want to transfer this nicotine addiction over to that fucking vaping shit. I just don't want to do it anymore. The streams will be extra salty. Probably.
Or they just won't happen.
Or they just won't happen, yeah. More than likely, you guys ain't gonna see me. Just cold turkey right now by not having another smoke.
It's kind of hard because we just got a carton.
I mean, it is what it is. I'm not asking anybody else to quit with me. Number one. Number two, like, I've done this before. No more weed vape. No. I'm not talking about quitting smoking weed. I'm talking about stopping smoking cigarettes.
Nicotine in general.
And nicotine. And getting it out. Being done with nicotine. Number two, Flurry. I don't need your advice, dude. She doesn't have to quit. I can quit without her quitting. I fucking quit in the midst of having nothing but people that lived around me smoking. It's happened before. That's gonna be hard. I mean, it's gonna be. Well, is it ever gonna be fucking easy? Nothing about it is easy. But I'm just too fucking old to keep smoking cigarettes. I've done that before, Mr. Clay, and I did the whole like stepping down nicotine things on my vape. And when I got to 0, I just kept vaping. And then like shit would get, like I'd get like a hard period in my life would come along, or stressful period, and I would be like, oh, I'm gonna step up the nicotine and that vape again. I was never able to get off the fucking nicotine. That's the problem. And I'm telling you, I was getting way more nicotine when I was vaping than smoking. So that's, you can't win for losing. Yeah, the whole weaning down thing doesn't work for some people. People quit different ways.
I think that's why it was so easy to pick up again, just your tolerance for nicotine.
Absolutely. I mean, once a smoker, always a smoker, but I don't know. It's got to stop. No, it's okay. Like, it is what it is, man. People are gonna do that.
Well, yeah, like drug rehab centers will sometimes allow smoking because trying to do both at once is real hard.
Yep. Given up drugs and alcohol for years now, but I can't kick cigarettes. It's a toughie. I was in rehab and allowed to smoke. Yeah, they don't. They encourage it. Like, it's like, go do something that's, we know that's destructive, but it's not gonna fucking kill you with an overdose. So smoke all you want in rehab. That's basically the way it's treated. Imagine quitting smoking 2 days before an episode of Flash Fried. Maybe that'd be the best time to do it. Let's make sure that it's 2 days before a Flash Fried.
Yeah, the first falls on a Thursday, so it'll probably be a little bit better.
It'll be the day after a Flash Fried then.
Yeah.
Great. No, I know I can do it. It's one of those things that I just have to put my fucking mind to, and I'll be able to do it. And it'll help me feel better. It'll help me not be as fucking allergy ridden. It'll help me, I don't know, just health wise in general, voice wise. Your word is your most valuable thing. I'm not giving my word to anybody about it. I'm letting you guys know that I plan to quit. That's it. You guys aren't going to be consulted about it beyond that.
Yeah, you're not gonna do.
You're not my mom. I'm not gonna.
In the coffin.
No, I'm not gonna do a cigarette in the coffin video. I know better. Was off cigs for nearly 2 years. Now I smoke again, but only 2 or 3 in the evening to completely stop is fucking hard. All the best to your efforts. Yeah.
Well, maybe it'll help that it's gonna get hot as shit soon.
Yeah, it's gonna be really fucking hot outside soon. It's not gonna be nice outside. I'll have more of an impetus to not fucking sit around outside and smoke cigarettes all day. Just be like TJ and quit for real this time every couple of weeks or so. No.
He's been good.
I don't know. Scotty seems to think that TJ has not been as good as we think TJ's been.
Yeah.
Scotty seems to think that TJ has snuck off into the woods with Stevie a couple of times and enjoyed himself an American Spirit or 3. Scotty always thinks that. Well, that's because Scotty knows TJ better than anybody else talking about this knows TJ. So Scotty has his reasons for suspicion.
Yeah. I mean, I think, he got Taylor to quit smoking, too, so he knows the smoker.
Well, I mean, yeah. Scotty knows all the tricks of the smoker. And he knows all the tricks of TJ, too. He said that there were times where TJ went on a walk with Stevie. I want you to just process that. TJ was like, "Hey, Stevie, want to go on a walk?" Can you guys imagine that happening for any other reason other than to smoke a cigarette?
Well, of course he's going to be sneaky because Chelsea don't like it.
Well, no, I mean, like, that's the thing, though. Is like, that's a smoker's mind that does that to you, though.
Yeah.
It's like, It makes you this fucking like person that lives a dual life where you're telling everybody like I'm not smoking, but you're like actually I've done that before. So I can't really fuck on the guy for it if he is smoking a cigarette here and there again, but I haven't awakened a beast. I've awakened something that'll get Order 66 off the planet.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. It's already been Order 66. I can't, like, one of the reasons, like, I'm looking forward to quitting is because every time I sit out here like a grown-ass man and have a cigarette, there's 15 fucking people going, it's bad for you. It's like, all right, you win. So, you know, some of that should be evident. I mean, that's, you live with those super strong urges. Everyone will start asking you about quitting and how long have you been off smoking. They'll just get banned then.
Yeah.
They'll get nuked.
Like you said, it's starting to get hella hot, and you'll just probably be doing indoor streams.
Yep.
And then it's not even going to be weird because you don't do it inside.
Yep. I do not smoke indoors. But I'm a worrier, though. Did TJ also quit eating Oreos? I don't know. My room stinks of weed. Good on you. All right, I'm done. See you guys, I guess, next time.